Welcome back to Salty Nation. This is your host, Vinnie P. And today we are going to talk about H.R. 701 with the 115th Congress, 2017-2018. This bill was presented to the Congress by Mr. Wilson of South Carolina and Ted Lieu of California. And it was referred to the Committee on Energy and Commerce, January 24th of 2017. All right, H.R. 701 is a bill to direct a minister of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to conduct a study to determine appropriate cybersecurity standards for motor vehicles and for other purposes. Short title of this bill: this act may be cited as the Security and Privacy in Your Car Study Act of 2017 or the Spy Car Study Act of 2017. All right, Section 2, Study Required. The Minister of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, in consultation with the Federal Trade Commission and the Director of the National Institute of Standards and Technology, the Secretary of Defense, the Automotive Information Sharing and Analysis Center, SAE International, manufacturers of motor vehicles, manufacturers of original motor vehicle equipment, and relevant academic institutions shall conduct a study to determine appropriate standards for the regulation of the cybersecurity of motor vehicles manufactured or imported for sale in the United States that should be adopted by the administration and other appropriate federal agencies. The study shall include an identification of 1. The isolation measures that are necessary to separate critical software systems from other software systems. 2. The measures that are necessary to detect and prevent or minimize in the software systems of motor vehicles anomalous codes associated with malicious behavior. The techniques that are necessary to detect and prevent, discourage, or mitigate intrusions into the software systems of motor vehicles and other cybersecurities in motor vehicles, such as continuous penetration testing and on-demand risk assessments. 4. Best practices to secure driving data collected by the electronic systems of a motor vehicle system or vehicles, while such data is stored on board the vehicle, in transit from the vehicle to another location, in off-board storage, and in long-term storage, whether on board or off-board the vehicle. And 5. A timeline for implementing systems and software that reflect the measures, techniques, and best practices identified under paragraphs 1 through 4. B. Reports to Congress. 1. Preliminary report. Not later than 1 year after the date of the enactment of this act, the administration shall submit to the Committee on Energy and Commerce of the House of Representatives and Committee of Commerce, Science, Transportation of the Senate, and a report containing a preliminary findings of the study conducted under subsection A. 2. Final report. Not later than 6 months after the submission of the report under paragraph 1, the administrator shall submit to the committees described in such paragraph a report containing the complete findings of the study conducted under subsection A, including recommended dates for the adoption and effectiveness of the standards determined to be appropriate in such study, and recommendation for any legislation that may be necessary to authorize the adoption of such standards. 3. Form of report. The report required by paragraph 2 shall be submitted in an unclassified form, but may contain a classified annex. C. Definitions. In this section, 1. Administrator. The term administrator means the administrator of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. 2. Critical software system. The term critical software system means a software system of a motor vehicle that can affect the driver's control of the movement of the vehicle. 3. Driving data. The term driving data includes any electronic information collected about A. A vehicle's status, including its location or speed, or B. Any owner, lessee, driver, or passenger of a vehicle. So in summary, this bill requires the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration to conduct a study to determine and recommend standards for the regulation of the cybersecurity of motor vehicles manufactured or imported for the sales in the United States. The study shall identify isolation measures that are necessary to separate critical software that can affect the driver's control of the movement of the vehicle from other software systems. Measures that are necessary to detect and prevent or minimize anomalous codes in vehicle software systems associated with malicious behavior. Techniques that are necessary to detect, prevent, discourage, and mitigate intrusions into vehicle software systems and other cybersecurity risks in motor vehicles, and best practices to secure driving data about a vehicle status or about the owner, lessee, driver, or passenger of a vehicle that is collected by the electronic systems of a motor vehicle, and a timeline for implementing systems and software that reflects such measures, techniques, and best practices. So that is HR 701. I don't feel either way on this one. Y'all can make your own decisions. I do wonder why the Secretary of Defense needs this information, but who am I to say? Anyways, I do have links of vehicles that don't. The list only goes up to 2015, so I'm assuming 16 and 17 all vehicles have EDR. I'll have a link for that. I'll have a link on some lawyer write-ups about this EDR stuff and how their thoughts about it being used in court. But yeah, that's all I can. Like I said, I really don't have a feeling either or. I am curious why the Secretary of Defense wants copies of this. But if this bill passed, I mean, technology is technology. The more technology, the more access people have to vehicles, computers, whatnot. So, yeah, that's about all I got on this bill. As usual, press like if you liked it, down thumb if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to follow. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook, and you can contact me at vinniep@gmail.com, which will all be in the description. And until next time, this is Vinnie P. Peace.